What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back, and I'd like to welcome you all to the first ever BFR on for the regular season on this channel. We'll hopefully get 82 of these this season. Hopefully, I won't quit YouTube by then. I won't. I guarantee that I won't. But yeah, so I am kind of. I thought I was looking at my notes beforehand, and I kind of thought of one word. So I'm just gonna say it right now to describe last night's game. Speechless. That's really all I have to say. Of course, I'm going to go through everything and explain why I think that, but game one against the Colorado Avalanche in Colorado, high flying out of the gate. October 13th, 9 p.m. game. There were three 9 p.m. games yesterday, so I can only watch this one. I wasn't really flipping channels. And then the earlier games were Toronto and Montreal. Toronto won that. Washington passed Ovechkin passed Dion. So they won their game against the Rangers. Anaheim beat what's their name? The Jets, which was hugely surprising. That's the highest you're probably going to see Anaheim this year up here. Then that's probably also the highest you're going to see Buffalo since we're going to play the Canadiens tonight. That's also probably the lowest they'll see Tampa all year. That's probably the highest they'll see Columbus all year. The highest they'll see Detroit this year, and the highest they'll see Arizona this year. That's for sure. I also watched both the Pittsburgh Tampa game, which was a very surprising game, and the Vegas Seattle game, which by far the best game of the two games. Seattle Vegas, phenomenal game. Vegas up 3-0. Seattle ties it at 3. 35 seconds later, an absolute BS call of a non-kicking motion. Explain how moving your foot towards the puck while also lifting your foot into the air to hit the puck is not a kicking motion, NHL. Explain it, because I would like a thorough explanation on how that is just redirecting the puck. Absolute BS, and the officiating, I'm not sure if it's just the NHL at this point. I'm going to get into the officiating as well. Some of it is what the hell. Sorry about that, I returned. I had to attend an issue. But as I was saying, the officiating, absolutely horrible for that call. And there was stuff throughout the Blackhawks game. First and second period was fine. Third period was off the rocker, to say the least. And I'm not even just saying the third. Actually, the second period was pretty bad, because that's where all that stuff happened. So, let's get right into it. So these are the standings currently projected by all of the websites, ESPN, NHL.com, and just searching up standings on Google, whatever you get. You got the teams you haven't played yet from here to here in this division. In this division, it's from here to here. This division from here to here, and this division from here to here. So everyone, you either won it and are at the top or at the bottom. The lines for the Chicago were a bit surprising today. Gaudette did not play. Strome and Gustafsson were healthy scratched, so that could mean Strome is being moved or something like that. And the lines were DeBrincat, Johnson, Kane, Kubalik, Tays, Kurashev, Borgstrom, Doc, Hagel, and Kara, Entwistle, Carpenter. We expected Doc to be on that first pairing with DeBrincat and Kane. Doc had a good game. And we'll get to his moments in a sec. McCabe and Murphy was the first pairing. DeHaan and Seth Jones was the second. And then Stillman and Mitchell were the third, since Caleb Jones and Wyatt Kalnick are both out. Fleury was the goaltender. He would go 32 for 36 on the night. Kemper was in goal for Colorado. He would go 32 for 34. The shots were 36 to 34 Colorado. Hits were 25 to 17 Colorado, but faceoffs were 31 to 24 Chicago. Never thought I'd see the day that happened. And the score, Colorado wins 4-2. And I'll get into why I'm speechless. The Hawks have an 0-1-0 record now, obviously. On the power play, they went 1 for 3. Colorado went 0 for 4. And I'm speechless because McKinnon was on the COVID protocol and tested positive. He's asymptomatic, so he's fine. I'm like, okay, that's a huge boost for the Hawks. But it felt like Colorado had complete control of this game, yet I feel like they either didn't do it. I feel like they dominated the entire game except for bits and pieces of the second and third period. And yet, I'm not disappointed or happy with the Hawks. They scored 2 goals on the President's Trophy winner. And they only lost 4-2. They made it a game. But I feel like Colorado was dominating so much so that it didn't even feel close. Visually, you're watching that Colorado's beating them to every puck, spinning circles around them. It's kind of hard to watch as a Hawks fan because you're thinking, this team's supposed to be better. What's going on? And we'll get into the events that happened as we start with the first period. There was, as I said before, sorry, kind of just muttered my words there. There was high energy right out of the gate. The Hawks, Johnson and McCabe crashed into each other. Colorado had a post early, and with Johnson and McCabe crashing into each other, Jack Johnson gets a breakaway. And at 15:34, the goal to open the season for Colorado is Jack Johnson on a professional tryout who just got signed, and it's from Confer to make it 1-0. I wonder how much money you would have won in Vegas if you bet that Jack Johnson would score the first goal of the season for Colorado. Because that was, if I was like shocked, I was shocked minutes afterwards. Like I kept saying to myself, Jack Johnson just scored the first goal. Jack Johnson just scored the first goal. I was laughing to myself and also like in a weird, scary tone. And already after the first goal, they were chanting Fleury. Like, his teammates let him out to dry. You don't chant Fleury. You don't chant a goaltender's name unless they make a huge gap that it's scores from center ice, for example. That's when you chant a goalie's name. You don't chant on someone on a breakaway, especially one that kicked your ass out of the playoffs last year. So I lost a lot of respect for the Colorado fan base tonight. I lost a lot of respect for their team tonight, and I did gain respect for Jack Johnson, though. Jack Johnson, my guy. I'll never say that again. At 14-12, then, there was another goal from Colorado's Gabriel Landeskog. We'll get to him in a bit. His first of the season from Kadri and Eric Johnson to make it 2-0. Unstoppable. It wasn't stoppable. It was deflected twice. Eric Johnson shot it. It deflected off Kadri and off Landeskog and in. Fleury couldn't do anything about it, and then there you go again chanting Fleury. And at this point, I was pissed. I was already pissed that they already did it the first time. I was livid at their fans. I thought this was a Nashville thing. If it's going to be a Colorado thing, I'll hate them as much as I hate Nashville. It was unacceptable, and you don't chant on a goalie for doing that. You don't hear Chicago chanting goalies' names after someone makes a gaffe. You only hear that in Nashville. And Winnipeg, they used to do that a lot when they were shit, but pardon my language there. But yeah, that's I'm sorry, but that's how angry I was. And there were a few scrums, and Fleury makes a close save. Colorado was outskating Chicago throughout the period. And then at 10:26, Colorado, another goal from Colorado. Borum Byram, his first ever goal in his career from Landeskog to make it 3-0. And then Doc laid a huge hit, and there were bodies just flying everywhere afterward. Byram had a great game. I will say Byram, he's the guy that I wanted instead of Doc in that draft, but Doc's showed he can play tonight, and maybe Byram, he's got 2 points already, so we'll see how that he develops in Colorado. And with 4:30 left, there was a Colorado penalty on Comfort for cooking. And at 3:13, it's a power play goal for Chicago. It's Dominic Kubalik from Mitchell and Borgstrom. It originally said Kurashev. I had to scratch it out. It says Borgstrom. To make it 3-1. So it gives Chicago some hope. And at 2:26, there's a Chicago penalty. A bench minor served for... it was served by Johnson for too many men on the ice, which would be killed. But you're going to see this early in the season. New guys on the team need to get adjusted to the system. Early in the season, you'll see a lot of too many men on the ice penalties. There were some in Pittsburgh and Tampa. There was some in that game. There were some in the Seattle-Vegas game you saw. And then DeBrincat had a chance, shorthanded, was stopped. And then we go on to the second period. Makar hit the crossbar 8 seconds in, and I already was scared to death of what was going to happen. And it was 4-4 to start the period after a scrum ending in the first. Kemper had a mask issue, so we went to fix that. At 12:52, the Colorado penalty to Landeskog for holding was killed. At 10:29, there was a Chicago penalty to Murphy, which it shouldn't even have happened. Behind the play on the last play when it was in the Chicago, Murphy had to do it, otherwise they would have had a breakaway. But Murphy gets absolutely decked by Comfer in behind the play. Goes right into the boards. No one calls anything. No one even seems to notice it happened except the announcers after the play had happened. And no call. I was furious. And I'm wondering where the heck are the eyes of the officials. And that was the first of many issues that I had with the officials that night. It should have been a penalty on Comfer. And absolute interference penalty. Colorado gets the power play, absolute BS. And then it's 4-on-4, and then at 9:50, and then it goes to 4-on-4. As at 9:54, the Colorado penalty to Comfer, who should have been in the box for interference, gets a hooking call. So the guy that originally should have been in the box gets another chance and still ends up in the box for the second time this game. Should have been three when you think about it. And then at 9:05, there's a Chicago penalty to Hagel for holding, which maybe it was holding. I wouldn't have called it a penalty. I think that was kind of BS. Makar was kind of holding his arm in place so he couldn't leave, but they get the call. So it's 4-on-3 for Colorado. All the penalties were killed. Jones got hit by Landeskog and Doc had a breakaway saved. Nichushkin got hurt, but he would return in the third. Doc had a second breakaway that was saved. If Doc had scored those two, who knows where this game would have gone. Helm got hurt by Stillman on a hit, and he got decked. He would come back in the third period. And at 3:48, it's a goal from Colorado. It's Kadri from Ratanen. Why can't I say his name? Ratanen. What is that his name? Why am I forgetting? McKinnon, Landeskog, and Ratanen. Why am I forgetting how to say this? Yeah, it's Ratanen. Yeah. And from Byram. I don't know what that just happened there. I just had a brain fart on why that. I don't know why I forgot his name. Speaking of Rantanen, there it is. Speaking of Rantanen, I'll be back in a moment. I apologize for that. Rantanen had gotten hurt earlier as Kadri high-sticked him in the first period, and it was an own team incident. We'll see if Kadri gets suspended. Just kidding. I know the hockey guy did that joke in his, and I thought it was pretty funny, so I decided to use it. And the third, the Hawks did some line changes. Jack Johnson was very physical tonight. The Chicago 14:54. There's a Chicago penalty to Johnson for slashing. He was frustrated. He had been moved down to the fourth line. Kemper made a great save on Kane. Fleury made some great saves, and Nichushkin had a breakaway that was saved. And then at 4:29, it's a goal from Chicago from Connor Murphy. It's unassisted to make it 4-2. It makes it a game. They pull the goalie then with the power play. We'll get to the power play. Doc was hit down on the ground. He was on his, getting up on his, not even on his knees yet. He had already fell down. Landeskog ran him into the boards, and I'm thinking that's a game misconduct. We're gonna tie this game on the power play. Nope. Johnson got 2 for roughing Landeskog. Landeskog got 2 for roughing, and then he got 2 for boarding. Landeskog announced that he had a hearing, and it was only a 2-minute call. So that means he's being suspended for the hit. Where is the referee in this game? I'm frustrated at the refs. I know it's something that, yeah, your team lost, but when someone has an incident like this, or someone's getting suspended afterward, that shows the referee did not take the right action in this situation. Landeskog wouldn't return because it's basically a 4-minute penalty. There were 3.5 minutes left. So they would pull the goalie down when they were there. On the power play, what's his name? DeBrincat got hurt. His wrist, he threw his glove right off, and he got right off the ice. So that was scary. I haven't heard any news on him, so I hope he's okay. Doc has been fine, so no news on him either. And then Kadri saved a goal that could have changed the game, from Kane, that could have made it 4-3. And all I wanted to say was, what is wrong with the officiating in this league right now? You have the incident in Seattle, Vegas. There was some in Pittsburgh, Tampa. I'm like, what is this? I didn't watch the other 4 games. I only saw highlights. And the 2 calls with Murphy being assessed a penalty for something that shouldn't even have happened because of what the official didn't call, as well as the Doc call only being 2 minutes. Absolutely insane. I'm upset, and I'm going to continue to be upset. And I'm sorry if I get repetitive about this, but I'm passionate about this team, and I want to see this team succeed. And when it's referees that are standing in the way of it, it's annoying and it's frustrating. So yeah, you got the Steve Dangle out of me today. I apologize for swearing as I did at that one moment, but that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.